Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Australia Decides is just around the corner. What are you most looking forward to about the competition?
Firstly, singing my original song, it's pretty exciting. It's also cool to be a part of like a first, because it's the first time they've done it like this in Australia. So I guess, probably those things. Cool. What are you excited about? Because you guys are obsessed with this.
Well, yeah, we're excited to see all the original songs, to finally have a piece of Eurovision here.
Yeah.
And to have a say in who we get to send to Eurovision as well.
Yeah, I think that's important because since Australia's been a part of it, I think people have gotten a lot more involved in this country, in Eurovision. Like it's always been in my peripheral. I've been Italian, like my grandfather's always watched it. But it wasn't until Australia started participating that I was like, oh yeah, this is interesting, this is cool. My musical journey has not really, it's been short-lived so far because it's kind of started 3 years ago when I went on The Voice. Before that, I always loved music because, I don't know, being a closeted gay kid, music was one of the only things that I had. It was like my refuge. I was a Catholic boy at a Catholic school. Being gay was like, no. And I had these songs that I still love right now that got me through some of the worst times of my life. And it wasn't until I came out, it was just strange, my voice kind of came out at the same time. And these all kind of lined up with everything that I did with, I sang at my sister's wedding for the first time when I came out. That was the first time I ever sang in front of people. And then after that, I got obsessed with singing in front of people, so I started making covers, and then they started to go a little bit crazy on the internet, and then I applied for The Voice, and then I ended up winning The Voice, which was pretty fun. It's like a theme song of my life. It's called Red by Daniel Merriweather. Have you ever heard that song?
Yeah.
I think I just listened to your cover of it this morning.
Did you? Oh, that's. I've actually got a YouTube account from when I was a teenager. It's called The Secret Singer, and it's private, so it's never actually been. No one's ever seen the videos, but I recorded that song when I was probably about 15. And I remember I just looked so vulnerable and so sad. And I actually went, because I sang that on The Voice, and by that point I was kind of a little bit more confident and I was a bit more technical, and I thought I have to watch this video to remember how painful this song is to me. And when I watched it, even though technically it wasn't great, I remembered how much that song meant to me. And that song changed the whole journey for me. Like I remember I went from one of the lowest odds in like the betting things to like one of the highest, because that music to me is like so much more than just songs. It's like the lyrics and it's powerful.
What was it like winning The Voice?
It was a bit blur. I remember, massive blur, because I don't win anything. Like, nothing.
Well, you're in another competition now.
Well, yeah,
That was set you up for this, or?
I remember it being amazing because my family was all there. I literally had about 40 people in the audience, and they just roared up onto the stage. They were like, you couldn't even see all those judges anymore, like Delta and Jessie Taylor. My nonnas were there, and it was amazing. Like, it hit me probably a couple of weeks later, because I had a normal job before that. I was an architect, and I had a boring office job, and I was like, okay, shit, I'm signed to a record label now. I am a singer, I'm a musician. And I'm like, what do I do next? Like, it was just crazy. Yeah, and then you win money. I forgot about that as well, a car. So it was incredible. Like, it's changed my life. Like, when I won, I wasn't naive in the sense that I thought, okay, I'm Justin Bieber now. I had this plan because I have that strategy. It's like my 5-year plan. Like, I wanted to write music. I wanted to show people that I'm not just a reality show winner. Like, I don't do anything in halves. I'm a perfectionist. I work hard, and I've just been writing my butt off for the last couple of years. That's how Eurovision happened as well. I wasn't even meant to be in the competition. I submitted a song, and then of the 700, one of my songs was selected for the 10. And I had originally said yes to a female singer singing my song. And then it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago that they offered me the position. And I was all for that because I love that woman. I can't say who it is.
Yeah. They've chosen someone specifically to sing it.
Okay. Because when I wrote the song, I did obviously write it from my own experience. It's a story, but I also had to write it so anyone else could sing it, it's funny how it all happens. I wrote it kind of like a letter to my teenage Alfie self, kind of dating back to year 8 in high school. I remember there was a certain day, I don't remember when it was, but my friends, they were like the cool kids at school at that point, right? I tried so hard to fit into this group because I was hiding from who I really was, I think. Anyway, and then they would pick on me sometimes. And I remember there was this one time I went to the toilet, and I left my bag. They're like, oh, leave your bag here, Alfie. They were all in front of the sports sheds. And I came back, my bag wasn't there. And I'm like, oh, where's my bag? And they're like, oh, it's in the shed. And I went in there and they locked me in the shed. And I was in there for like probably half an hour. It's pretty funny now because they're actually my friends now, and they feel terrible because this actually really affected me, because I was in there thinking, oh my God, you know, what if no one knows I'm in here? What if I die? What if? But I actually went home and I felt the lowest I ever felt in my life, because I was already this gay kid at a Catholic school. And I remember just thinking, the only way out is not to be here. And so that song reflects 2 times in my life, that time and then now. So it's kind of like standing on the edge of your fears and just thinking, fuck it, you know, like I'm amazing how I am. And yeah, you know what else? It's kind of like, we talked about RuPaul before, you know when they show pictures of to themselves, like what would you say to yourself as a kid? I think probably that song is that for me.
What kind of advice would you give to other younger artists, especially people like Leah Nanos coming through with their own original songs,
She's so lovely,
pursuing their careers?
She's so cute. Yeah. Look, this industry is so, it's a very fickle industry. You have a very thick skin, and you just got to believe in yourself, because I know that sounds so cliche, but it's true. Like, sometimes I have moments, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but like sometimes I wake up, or just the other day I was watching Facebook, there was a video of Lady Gaga performing, and I think she's one of the most incredible performers in the world. And then I was watching it thinking, oh shit, this is what a performer is, I must not be any good. And then again I was thinking, no, we're not the same thing, you're not doing that. You gotta be, I think you just gotta love who you are and just go with that, because you'll never be anyone else, you know.
What's your favourite lyric in To Myself?
Probably stand on the edge and feel what it's like to fall. That's probably my favourite lyric. I don't play any instruments, so and the producer always finds it strange how I write, because I generally in the car or I could be asleep, but with this particular song, the melody sometimes hits my brain, or lyrics. I think for this song, Stand on the Edge was like one of the things that because I just imagined, I know this is very morbid, but I was thinking of those people. I think around the time when I wrote it in Sydney, there was a few suicides around with one of our tallest buildings, people jumping off Centrepoint Tower, and I was thinking, I wonder what goes through their head, like from that moment of being on the edge and actually falling. What do you think, and what do they feel? And that was kind of the inspiration behind the whole song, like the premise, I guess, of that song.
I've got goosebumps.
Yeah. Well, as part of this competition, they took me to the Q1 in Queensland, and like right to the top, and we did like this sky deck walk thing, but on the highest point, and also because of the lyric, I think that's why they took me out there, you know. And yeah, again, like you wonder how someone, well, like I said with myself, when I was a teenager, I felt low, but not low enough to. I think the thing that always stopped me from ever doing anything was knowing, you know, how would my mum feel if I did that, you know. But for people to actually do it, like they must be really hurt and really, broken. It's hard to give advice because I think everyone has a different state of mind, and everyone's brain and the way everyone feels is so different. I was lucky that I was able to switch those feelings off sometimes. I was kind of like an actor in school. Like I'd be able to switch it off and, you know, turn up and just fake it every day, you know, to my friends, you know. Always have my chest out, make it look all like a big, strong, straight boy. I copied what all my mates did, but that wasn't me, you know. But then I'd go home and I'd just feel so shit about the person I pretended to be that day. I don't know, I guess the only advice I could give is just dig deep to you know, learn who you really are and love it, because you'll never ever be able to be anyone else. So, and that's one thing. I always looked at other people and people's strengths, and I'd always only focus on my flaws. But then I remember the day that I realised that being gay actually made me special. I was like, fuck, that was like the day my life changed, where I lived rather than just existed. And it changed everything for me. Now I love being gay. I always tell people I'm gay because it makes me special. All my friends that are gay, like we love it. You know, my mum loves it, my nonna loves it now. Yeah. The thing is, the Italians are, they're so loving, like they love, but then they're also so passionate and aggressive. So they're an instant reaction is usually negative, you know, because they want to care for you and they want to nurture you and they want to protect you. So it's always protection first. That's why my family was not that great at first either. But you know, they came around, even my grandmother. Like I remember when I came out to my nonna, she took down all my graduation photos. She didn't talk to me for 3 months. And now, like, she loves my partner, and it's funny, we just did an interview with SBS, Viceland, and they interviewed Nonna, and Nonna was telling her story, and I was in the room, like, she was saying, like, Patrick, the interviewer, said, "Oh, Nonna, how did you feel when Alfie came out?" And she said, "Patrick, to be honest, it didn't bother me at all. I don't want to no matter what." And I'm like, "Is this the same Nonna?" Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll roll with that. You know, and it's all about education too. Like my grandfather, my dad's dad, he asked if I'd go to the doctors with him to fix it, and I said, "Okay, if the doctor can fix it, I'll come with you." And anyway, he went and asked his doctor, of course, and then he never ever spoke of it again because his doctor, obviously someone who's educated, said, "You can't fix it. It's who you are." And my nonno is now, he understands what he thought it was propaganda. Like he said the Mardi Gras was something that Australians made up. He said, you know, the Lebanese and gay Lebanese Mardi Gras, he called it. He said that's propaganda, and now he understands. Like it's great.
Eurovision's as much about the staging and the performance as it is about the song and the artist. What kind of thing can we see you bringing to the Australia Decides stage? Can you give us a bit of an insight into staging?
Yeah, I can, I think. But my song's obviously a ballad, so I'm not going to be like jumping and dancing and.
No kimonos, no waving cats, like.
No, but there will be some drama. I'm sure there will be some of that, but like. There'll definitely be some drama, or like, and production's going to be beautiful. It's going to be all about lighting with my performance, and they've got some really cool things happening on the main stage towards the end, because the song obviously builds, so the production kind of has to build around that. And one thing I'll say is the audience is going to be very much involved, which they'll know how on the day, so it's going to be very magical. My main focus is always performance first. Like that's what to me it's not even a competition yet. Like even The Voice was never really that in my mind. When I won, I was like, oh shit, okay. But this is, because I'm such a perfectionist, I'm so hard on myself, like I just need to nail, like this song, like the end of it, vocally, it's my peak, so I need to make sure I deliver the vocals, and then if I do, then I'm like, okay, yeah, here we go, Israel.
Eurovision is giving you the opportunity to perform in front of a huge international audience of around 200 million people worldwide. Are you excited to expand your audience globally?
Oh, pressure. Yeah, the funny thing is that doesn't scare me much. It's more this, if you ask me to sing right now in front of you, I'd get really nervous. Yeah, look, that's the amazing thing about this competition. It's like the biggest stage in the world. So many people will be watching. And the most exciting thing is like there's so many people that you can potentially inspire, empower. Because my music, I write it for that purpose, you know, for kids that were like me as a teenager, and to have that massive platform to do that is pretty exciting. And it's also like, I'm gay, it's like the Gay Olympics, so like my friends will be watching me next year if I get through, or this year, sorry, if I get through. Last year we were on a little vacation in Sydney for a friend's birthday. On the day of Eurovision, we were all watching Jess's performance, so it's pretty crazy to think that I'm kind of close to you know, doing that. The one that sticks out to me is Dami's one, because like, I don't know if she's Australian, but I paid more attention that year, and I just remember getting goosebumps and feeling so proud, because I thought, like, it was incredible, it was flawless, like her dress, like she was so present, she just sat there and just delivered it vocally, like there was no vocal flaws at all. That's probably one of my favourites.
Have you heard any of the competitors' songs? Do you have any favourites so far?
I have. I love Electric Field's song. I think it's really cool. Yeah. And they're such lovely guys too. There's a playlist. There's a couple of playlists. And the other day I was just listening to them all because I wanted to hear how they all sounded like together. And it's really nice because they're all so different. Leah's song's lovely. Like really good. Like her voice is so mature for a 16-year-old. And when if you meet her, she's like this lovely little bubbly 16-year-old girl. But then her voice sounds like an adult singing, I think. And she wrote that too. Like she's very mature sound for such a young girl. So my ritual, usually, and this has come all the way from The Voice, but when I was on The Voice, no one knew that I was actually doing this, so I had my earplugs in. It looked like I was meditating, but I actually had Madonna's Like a Prayer blaring in my ears, and that got me ready every time I went out. It's just that, you know, the gospel choir in the beginning, and just just empowered me. But everyone probably thought I was just sleeping or meditating, but that's actually, that song always gets me in the moment.
If you go to Tel Aviv, what are you most excited about, like being overseas and being in Israel? Like, is there anything that you have plans on doing, like while you're over there?
One of my good friends, I've never met him, one of my Instagram friends is also a singer from Tel Aviv. I never ever thought I would be there or have the chance. I guess you can go on holidays, but yeah, it's just, from what I've heard, it's a pretty vibrant city. You know, it's a pretty colourful, diverse city. I always had perceptions of Israel as being a scary place, but Tel Aviv is, I think, quite the opposite. So it'd be pretty cool to go over there and a bit of a cultural experience for me.
What's next?
Well, look, to be honest, I actually had a song ready to be released on February 8, which is funny. We had the video made, we had everything. Then, because I submitted the song for Eurovision, I never actually thought I'd be performing it. So now that's been put on hold. So the beauty is, if I win and get to go to Israel, everything else will be put on hold, but I'll be doing that, which is the most incredible opportunity in the world. If not, I've got all these other songs that I've got ready to be released to the world, and they're all so important to me because I see myself as kind of an autobiographical kind of writer, and I think a lot of people can relate to the songs. Yeah. My ex won't really like the next song, but yeah, people I'll be able to relate to it.
Bit of an emotional ballad to your ex then, or?
It's not about, no, this one's actually not, I wrote this one in the States, in LA with an amazing writer. We battled for a year to get the song to have it with me, because she writes with Kelly Clarkson and all these big artists, and they wanted the song to be released over there and pitched to someone else. And I originally said no, because they wanted it so badly, so I thought, it means it's really good. And B, because it's one of my favourite songs. So yeah, I'm excited about the year ahead.
Best of luck for the competition.
Yeah, thank you.
Best of luck for the future.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.